Since the dawn of man, humans have forged tales in the crucible of their imagination. Fueled by experiences of wonder and fear, they use these stories to explain and understand the world around them. While many of these myths died where they were born, left forgotten in the ashes of lost civilizations, some transcended the boundaries of both time and culture, spreading across the globe and becoming legends of their own right. These myths chronicle the human experience. First recorded in the Greek culture, the myth of Titanomachy tells the story of a battle between two generations of gods, and has appeared in nearly every major civilization since. Today we look at the recurring myth of Titanomachy and ask ourselves, what makes this story so relevant, and consider how it has permeated the boundaries imposed by petty political borders, and ingrained itself as a key component of the human experience. The concept of Titanomachy owes its name to an ancient and lost poem allegedly written by a famous antiquity poet, Emilius of Corinth. While the physical text of the poem was lost in time, it is believed to have outlined the mythological battle between two classes of Greek deities, the older Titans and the younger gods. This myth begins with Gaia and Uranus, producing the original 12 Titans. Cronus was the last Titan to be born, and most powerful of all. Rising above his fellow siblings, Cronus defeated and neutered his father Uranus, then married his sister Rhea, and began to produce 6 children, creating the first in a younger generation of gods. However, having learned that his children were destined to overcome him, he began to swallow each child that Rhea bare. The 6th baby gave birth to Zeus, was saved from Cronus and hidden away until manhood, where he returned to free his siblings and face his father. The supernatural struggle eventually culminated in the mythological battle between the Titans and gods, where Zeus himself defeated his own father. Cronus, along with his fellow Titans, were cast from the heavens into Tartarus, thus ending the reign of the Titans and beginning the age of the Olympians. This myth has set a precedent that numerous other mythologies have followed. Above all else, there are 2 main themes that were observed in this poem and continue to reoccur throughout history. First is the supernatural battle. Rather than perceiving all deities as one united force, the Titanomachy story tells to depict a tale of battling gods, often good versus evil, or chaos versus order. Second is the tension between generations or within families. The Titans and gods were all part of one family tree, and the theme of inter-family struggle would resurface in several other civilizations. Another example of the Titanomachy phenomenon occurs in Celtic mythology. In this tale, the role of the Titans has been assumed by the Fomorians, an ancient race of giants that were the first occupants of Ireland. Gods of chaos and nature, they were widely considered to represent the harmful forces of the ancient world. After much time passed, the Tuatha De Danann, a race of newer gods representing pagan values, arrived in Ireland and settled near the Fomorians. For a time, this new generation of gods was able to coexist with the old inhabitants, and they were able to intermarry and maintain peace. However, everything changed when Balor, king of the Fomorians, received a prophecy that he would one day be killed by his own grandson. In an effort to prevent this from occurring, Balor imprisoned his daughter, Ethniu, in a tower on Tory Island off the northwest coast of Ireland. Balor also kept on the island a sacred cow with limited supply of milk, which he stole from a Tuatha De Danann on the mainland, Gobnu. Gobnu then sends his brother Cain to retrieve the cow. While on the island, Cain had managed to impregnate not only Ethniu, but also the 12 maidens assigned to guard Ethniu. When Balor discovered what had happened, he attempted to drown his grandson, named Lu, in the sea. Lu survived and went to live with the Tuatha De Danann. Eventually, Tuatha De Danann and Fomorians went to war and met at the Second Battle of Mag Tuired. During the conflict, Balor and his grandson engaged in battle. Lu uses a sling and shoots Balor in the single poisonous eye, fulfilling the prophecy. The tale of the Fomorians and the Tuatha De Danann contains many of the salient traits of Titanomachy. The conflict between the elder Fomorians and the newcomer Tuatha represents the generational conflict. Additionally, Fomorians represent chaotic and harsh nature values, while the Tuatha represent the more refined pagan values. This contradiction exemplifies the conflict between good and evil seen in the Titanomachy archetype. Finally, the prophecy, although not strictly required in the Titanomachy myth, is strikingly reminiscent of the prophecy Cronus receives in the original Greek myth. Similar themes from these ancient tales even bleed into contemporary Christianity, albeit with several significant alterations. The battle in heaven is between the archangels of Michael and fallen angels of Lucifer that preceded the birth of man is reminiscent of several myths, characterized by a rebellious deity battling his older and greater counterparts. Furthermore, in the famous epic poem Paradise Lost, the battle of heaven literally ends with the fall of Satan, where the rebellious angels are cast from heaven into a dark underworld that is fittingly declared Tartarus. It's important to notice that while this story follows the typical format with startling accuracy in some sections, it also makes significant thematic changes. While the younger deity, Lucifer, does rebel against his creator God, in the end, the creator easily defeats the rebellion and casts Lucifer and his angels from heaven. Furthermore, while the other stories depict one side defeating the other before the dawn of mankind, Christianity leaves the conflict more unresolved, with Lucifer now having adopted his more infamous title Satan, continued to reappear throughout the scriptures as an embodiment of evil. These differences could be a result of Christianity's focus on a single, all-powerful God as opposed to the previously discussed myths, which centered around flawed, almost human deities. Thus, in casting Satan out of heaven, the story works to establish the idea of an unbeatable God, and in letting Satan live, the story explains why evil can still exist inside it today. Despite these differences from the original story, the war in heaven still bears great weight as a distinctly Titanomachy myth due to its focus on creation versus creator conflicts and heavenly battles. It is unclear what exactly caused this particular myth to exist across cultures and times. However, there are two main theories which claim the source is either psychological or societal. The tensions between separate generations within one culture can be seen across ages in a variety of artistic works, ranging from Juliet's dysfunctional relationship with her parents to Luke's climatic battle with his father. Parent-children conflicts have fascinated writers throughout the ages, so it is unsurprising that the mythological scholars of ancient times were equally enchanted. It is likely that this struggle between generations that remains constant throughout civilizations is reflected in the mythology in the form of these ancient wars. Another cause may lie in the values of the civilizations as a whole. Some scholars have observed that these mythologies were most prevalent among Indo-European nations. This may have been a result of these cultures attempting to justify their current conquest against other civilizations. In their own eyes, they were not too different from the gods. They overthrew the ancient tribes and replaced them with their more modern organizations. It is likely that both of these theories hold merit when considering the origins of the Titanomachy phenomenon. Ultimately, Titanomachy has transcended the borders of time and culture because it explains not just the life of one man in one civilization, but an essential component of the human experience. The conflicts between the young and old, good and evil, and chaos and order are related to all of humanity. Because of this, Titanomachy myths have existed since before written history and will continue to spread around the globe and persist into the future.